Hello and welcome back, guys, again with a new day of 21 days front-end interview preparation challenge. So we are here comes with a new topic. So I hope you are well prepared according to the topics. So yeah, topics are very e you can say easy or if you prepared. So for you is easy, or for someone it can be difficult also. So topics are prototype inheritance, async programming, and promises. So there are three topics. Just directly come to the interview round. So first question is from Mahin. So Mahin, your question is, what is prototype inheritance in JavaScript?
Okay, so my question is, what is prototype inheritance in JavaScript? So basically, prototype an object of the particular of instances and talk about the inheritance. So inheritance is a mechanism for allowing to other object to take properties and method from another objects, and by using the prototype itself, we can inherit the objects one object to another object. So this is what prototype in of an inheritance.
Yeah. Uh, so second question is from Akash. Akash, your question is, how is prototype inheritance different from classical inheritance?
So yeah, basically, prototype inheritance is are objects where if we want to use the inheritance properties, then we always use object.prototype. And if we talk about the classical prototype inheritance, then it is used in Java or C++. But in JavaScript, we always use the prototype inheritance. And if we talk more that how we can do this thing, then it's the suppose we talk about the syntax, then first we take the const parent is equal to array or any objects, and after that if we take the const child is equal to, then there we have to write object dot create, and in that we write the parent in the small braces. Then it can be the value that parents have, that's the value exactly came to the child. It means it has the inheritance properties. That's the prototype inheritance in JavaScript. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, thank you, Akash. Your answer is correct, but this is not acceptable. I mean, expected answer, which I expected from you. So I want from you a cut to cut answer, pointed answer. Like okay, so but you are correct. So now it's
Okay.
time for Amit. So Amit, your question is explain the concept of prototype chain. What is prototype chain?
Okay. So in JavaScript, we use prototypical inheritance, and prototype chain is the method through which prototypical inheritance is displayed. Let's say we have two objects, and we want the children object to acquire all the properties and methods from the parent object. Then we use the prototypical chain, and prototypical chain are made basically through prototype. I mean, one object's prototype is basically linked with the other object. In this case, since we want children to acquire the properties and methods of parent, then what we do is we link the child object to the parent's prototype object. Every object has a prototype object inside it, a prototype property. So these prototype objects are basically used to link with each other to make the prototypical change. And here we can say that the children object is basically linked with the parents object prototype object. So that's how we show the prototypical inheritance, and that's the chain that we are talking about, the prototypical chain. Yeah.
Yeah, well answered. Now it's time for Karan. So Karan, your question is, tell us about what is the purpose of async programming.
Okay, so async
If you want,
programming.
so I can change the question.
Please change the question because this topic is not covered
Okay,
in my
okay,
course
okay,
right now.
okay, okay. No worries. So for you, the question is, I'll change the question. So your new question is, uh, as you completed prototype inheritance is, I think you completed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So please tell us about what you understand from prototypes.
Okay, so basically, prototype is a property which is used like whenever there are two objects, okay, and we want that old like existing object property inside the main object. So we use that prototype chain, like Amit said about prototype chain. So we use prototype chain and prototype properties to access those methods or any property which is inside the existing object. So basically it is used for that, and there are different methods, like there are set prototype through which we can just link up two objects, and we can access any of their keys through that one object only. There is set prototype, and we can also create one prototype like we can create a constructor function with the help of prototype. So there are many functions we can perform with the help of prototype, so that we can access the old object property also. So that's the usage of prototypes.
Yeah, thank you, Karan. So well answered. Now it's time for Supriya. So Supriya, your question is, what is asynchronous programming? What do you understand from asynchronous program?
Okay. Firstly, thank you. So asynchronous programming is a function in JavaScript which is used to delay the concept of elements which are running synchronized way. So basically, as we all know, JavaScript is a synchronous language. Like first element executes only after the element which has been put it before that element. It is like it runs line wise. So it can be a problematic thing in web browsers or web pages, because it can create an issue when our user is loading something and that particular thing is taking time to reload. So for that thing, we use set time out and set time interval functions, and these functions are used to delay the time of the execution of the element on which we are applying it. So it can simply delay the concept, like if you want your page to be reloaded after the element to be reloaded after 2 minutes or 5 minutes, then you can put it like 20,000 and 30,000 seconds, then it will surely delay your time. That particular element will get reloaded after all the things are reloaded already, then it will get executed. It's not like that your other elements will stop for that particular element, other elements will get executed, and that element on which you have put it the timer, that will get executed after all the elements. So that is asynchronous programming.
Yeah, thank you, Supriya. Well answered. Now it's time for Mahi. So Mahi, your question is, JavaScript is asynchronous or synchronous language? And if it is synchronous, so tell us why it is synchronous. Tell us the reason also.
Okay, so my question is, JavaScript is synchronous or asynchronous? And if it is synchronous, so why? This is my question. Okay. So basically, JavaScript is synchronous. It goes through line by line through, and in the check the all line by line and line one after in line. So and why? Because JavaScript don't like asynchronous, means it's go to line by line up to down. It's there in the file, there is in JS file there is a 20 to 30 lines, so it's go to one by one line, and they execute sequentially. Means it's not good. It's like there is a two tasks in a JavaScript file, so it's go to like it's when complete the first task till then it wait for a one task, and when the one task is complete and then it's go to second task. It means it's a waiting for the old task is completed. That's why JavaScript is synchronous. While asynchronous task is like it's not waiting for a one task is completed and goes to second task. It's go to second task and not waiting for a first task. That's why JavaScript is synchronous, not asynchronous.
Yeah, mine well answered. But I have one more follow-up question for you. The question is, as you said, the JavaScript is synchronous language. So JavaScript is multi-threaded language or single-threaded language?
Multi-threaded, single-threaded. Okay, so maybe single-threaded.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you, mine. So now it's time for Akash again. So Akash, your question is, what is the main purpose of asynchronous programming? Why we use asynchronous programming?
So yeah, we use asynchronous programming JavaScript because when we use the asynchronous programming, then it always calculate the code line line by lines, where suppose we want to use the set out time there, then it never go through the set out time. First, it will go through the first, and it will left the set out time, and after that it will execute the codes. So in asynchronous programming language, it will always used that it directly code line by line. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, Akash, but I think you could be more better than this. Your
Yeah.
answer was right, but you are not in a structured form. Your question answer was not in a structure, I think.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
improve from next time.
Yeah. Next turn is Amit. So Amit, your question is, what do you understand from promises in JavaScript?
Okay, so promises in JavaScript are basically constructor functions, just like any other constructor function, but it is a special kind of constructor function because a promises constructor function or promises objects are used when we are doing the asynchronous programming. So in asynchronous programming, what it does is we basically get data from any external source, and from that external source we don't know how much time will it take. So what it does is it gives us the data in promise objects. So promise objects has properties, like promise objects has two properties called state and value. So state is a very flexible value, it can change over the time. It has three possible states, like pending, rejected and resolved. So when we get the data, when it is in we are getting the data, then it is in pending state. When we get the data there with no error, then the state is changed to resolved with the actual data, whatever data we were expected. And the third state is when we don't get any data, instead of that we get any error. So in that state, in that case, the state will be error state, and in that case the value will be the error itself. So overall, promises are a constructor function which basically as an object, and which has two properties called state and value. State are dynamic, they have different values, they can acquire different values over time, and value property has the value. It could be an error or it could be the resolved data. So yeah.
Thank you, Amit. Well answered. Now it's time for Karan. So, Karan, your question is, just tell me about where is your question? Yeah, just tell me about how does inheritance work in a asynchronous class?
In the asynchronous class. Okay.
Sorry. I'll give you some hint. Asynchronous code is something like where we use set timeout, set interval, promises, fetch, Axios, but asynchronous code's main motive is whenever we don't want to execute our code just immediately, synchronous way, so we put it in a asynchronous code. So whenever we get the data, if we make any request, so request goes to our server and that it takes some time to return. So we in that situation we use asynchronous code. So how does inheritance work in asynchronous class? If you have any idea, if you can guess, so please tell us.
Okay. I can give an example. For example, like there are some properties, like there is some property in an object, like there is any function in an object. Okay, and I want that that it should be invoked whenever I want. Like it should not be invoked continuously. Like it should not be invoked in synchronous way. We want it after some time. Okay, so we can use that asynchronous programming, and we can use the inheritance inside it, so that we can call it whenever, like after some time. So that's how we can use asynchronous programming with the help of that inheritance. किसी और से पूछ लो तो
Yeah, guys. So sorry for interruption. Now, we are back again. Yeah. So Karan is Karan is done. Now it's time for Supriya. Yeah, Supriya. So yeah, tell us about what is the purpose of async keyword in JavaScript.
Can you please repeat?
What is the purpose of async word in JavaScript?
Sorry, there is some background noise. Yeah.
Hello, hello,
What
hello.
is
Can you hear me?
yeah. What is the purpose of asynchronous programming in JavaScript,
A
right?
no, 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 no. What is the purpose of async word keyword in JavaScript?
Async keyword. Okay.
Ah,
Uh, async keyword. I don't have the proper answer of it.
okay. If you don't have the answer, so please.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The question is the same question is now from Maheen. What is the purpose of async keyword in JavaScript?
So this first of all, the async keyword is used for tell for the async programming, and the async keyword used for property to tell the function now you are behaves like a async programming. So and so this is the work what is async do. Async tell the that function to now your work is like a async programming. So async keyword we are used to write to before the function that particular function, and inside we perform the our async program. So this is what the use of the async keyword.
Yeah, mine well answered. So basically, async keyword is used to define asynchronous functions. Okay, so whenever we want to describe async functions, so we use uh, yeah, async keyword. Okay, it indicates that the function will always return a promise. Whenever we use async keyword, so it always return promise. Okay, yeah. So guys, next question is from Akash. Akash, your question is how does async or await simplify asynchronous code?
Can you again repeat the question?
How does async or await simplify asynchronous code?
Yeah. In asynchronous programming, async basically returns the promises, and the use of async basically is that when it returns the promises, then it always wait for the fulfilled code, or it for wait for the error. After that, it works as a async, means it always return a promises, where promises always have a properties to check the code that it is fulfilled or it's error or not. If it's error, then we use that error to dot catch method, and if it's not, then it execute the code. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Akash. Well answered. Now it's time for Amit. Amit, your question is explain the role of event loops in asynchronous programming. What is event loop in asynchronous programming?
Okay. So event loop is a very vast topic and a very big debatable topic, we can say. So what event loop is? Event loop we can say as a mechanism that handles all the asynchronous requests sent to an external source. In simplified version, we can say that whenever we are doing asynchronous programming, we are always sending some requests to the backend or the server. And in backends or server, there is a mechanism called event loop is there, and that event loops makes sure that whatever request it gets, whether it is synchronous or asynchronous, it handles it very gracefully. Like there could be multiple requests sent to the servers, and that server needs to handle it gracefully. Like it should always take the synchronous request first, because those requests are very delicate, because the user needs it very urgently. And the asynchronous requests are like they can take time. Whenever they have the resolved value, they can send back to the client. So event loops is the mechanism that it's basically a program that handles all these requests. It manages the orders, it manages the values and all those things which are very much hidden from the client. client. So yeah, this all about the event loop. Event loop is a mechanism that handles request, it manages orders, it manages values, and it makes sure that there is no chaos, and there is all the requests are sent gracefully to the client. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. So well answered. But it little bit lengthy, I think. Yeah, but you explained in a good manner. Yeah, that was great. Now it's time for Karan. So Karan, your question is just simply tell us about what is callback functions and why we use callback functions.
Hello, hello, hello,
Yeah, Karan, go ahead.
hello, hello. आ रही है आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, your voice is
Okay.
clear.
What was the आवाज कट रही? Hello. बोलना कुछ? Hello. Sorry. Say something.
Something.
Say something.
Hello, Karan.
1 second, sir.
Okay. So my question is, what are callbacks function in JavaScript? So basically, callback functions are the function which are passed as an argument inside another function, so that we can execute it later. So that's the basic use of callback function, and the basic syntax is that only, like in the definition only, like what we can do, like we can create a function with any name, and we can create another function, and we can like in the argument we can mention that function which we need to execute later. So that's the use of callback functions, so that we can execute it later. That is
Yeah, thank you,
callback function.
Karan. Yeah, now it's time for Supriya. So Supriya, your question is how does a promise differ from a callback function? I mean, basic difference from callback functions and promises.
Okay. So basically, as Karan told you, that callback function takes an argument as the other function, but in promises, it is a simple function which takes two parameters like resolve, and one more is there. I'm not getting the name of it.
Resolve and reject.
The resolve and
Reject.
reject. Yeah, right. So in promises, resolve and reject, these two parameters are important. Out of these two, you can take any one thing in your code. But in a callback function, a function is already written, and you want to like you want the execution of the function after it is written, like you want to call it back. So that is the callback. But in promises, it's not like that. It's like that whatever you are returning, it can be used to I mean, it takes two parameters like resolve and sorry resolve
Resolve and reject.
resolve and reject. Yeah. So one is compulsory, and inside that function you can write whatever you want to get executed in your code, and after it you can simply write the timer there or anything, then it will get executed. It's not like that you have to call it back on something. It's function which runs independently. It's not dependent. But in callback, a function is taking a function as an argument. So basically they are dependent, but in promises it's not like that. So this is the basic difference.
Yeah, you have the information, but you are not able to put it in a structured way. Okay, so I'll give you only half marks. Yeah, now it's time for again Mahin. So Mahin, your question is, what do you understand uh, from callback hell? What is callback hell?
Okay, so basically callback hell is like a callback inside the callbacks. While we are not institute the promises, so before that we are using callback, but callback hell is like a callback inside the callback, and like a nested callbacks. It's a callback hack, basically a nested callbacks, and it is a very difficult to understand, and there is so many problems we are facing while using that. And so nowadays we are using promises inside the callback health, and callback health basically nothing but a nested callbacks and very difficult to write. It means callback inside the callback function inside the function, and there is a just go and go. So this is what callback has.
One follow-up question for you. Is there any solution of callback hell?
Yeah, promises are there to use the callback help. So means solution is a promises.
Yeah, great mind, great. Well answered. Now it's time for Akash. So Akash, your question is, explain the three states of a promise.
Three states of promise, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, three states of promises is await, async, await, and a dot catch. Async is basically refers to the asynchronous programming, and promises basically handle the fulfill and the code is fulfilled or not. And await is for pause the execution code that it will pause the, and after that when the promises executed, after that the await and async will work. So yeah, these are all the three states of promises.
Yeah, Akash, but actually I think your answer was not correct, because three states of promises is: first is initial state, second is fulfilled, and third is rejected. Either your promise will fulfilled or rejected, or first whenever you make promise, so this state is called initial state of promise. Okay.
Okay, I got
I
it.
I think you little bit confused. That's why you are
Yeah,
not
I
able to give
confused
right
because
answer.
states I didn't recognize that you are asking about the initial state and rejected state.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Oh, yeah, it's time for Amit again. So, Amit, your question is, yeah, give me just 30 seconds.
भाई लीड निकाल लेते
Are you
यार.
Yeah,
recording?
yeah, guys, now it's time for Amit. Amit, your question is, what do you understand from dot catch and dot then methods in asynchronous programming?
Okay. Yeah, so dot then and dot catch. Whenever we deals with asynchronous programming, we are actually sending the request and getting back a promise. So that promise is basically having three states, either pending, resolved, or rejected. So to handle those promise, we use dot then and dot catch. What dot then method does is it takes the promise and we pass a callback function inside that, and that callback functions basically handles that promise. If that promise is resolved, we get the promise in get the resolved value at that then method. And same is the rejected. But when we get any error, then that error is handled by the catch method. So dot then and dot catch are two methods to handle the promises. We when we use dot then method, we basically handle the resolved value, and resolved value we get inside the dot method. Whenever we get any error, then that error is caught by the dot catch method, and we catch that error, and we can handle the error state very gracefully. Like client don't has to the web page is not get stuck. We can handle it gracefully. Yeah, those were the two methods.
Yeah, Amit, thank you so much. Now it's time for Karan. So, Karan, your question is, what we understand from constructor functions, or what are the uses of constructor functions?
Okay, so constructor function constructor function is basically used to minimize the code of the JavaScript. Like we don't with the help of constructor function, we can create multiple objects with just single line of code. We do not need to create every object repeatedly. We can just simply create the one line code, and object is created. If like it is basically used when the keys of the object are same, just the values are changing. So in that case, we can use constructor function to create an object. And for the basic syntax of constructor function is that first of all, you have to for constructor function always starts with the capital letter. So it should be like a function, then there should be name with a capital letter. Then there should be a parenthesis inside, in parenthesis you can create the arguments which you want to call. then inside the curly bracket you can call multiple things like this dot name. You should use this like because this is referred to the object we're gonna create for the function. So that's how we can create a constructor function. And how to call it? So basically for calling we have to create another variable, and in that variable we have to use new word like new term. The new term help to create an object, to create a new object, and then you can create any object. You can pass any values for those arguments, and that's how you can create any object with one line of code.
Yeah, thank you, Karan. Well answered. Now it's time for Supriya. So, Supriya, your question is just tell us about what is the use of promise dot all method. There is a method promise dot all where we use it.
Sorry, I couldn't recognize your question. Can you
Okay,
please
no
repeat?
worries. So you just simply tell us about what is the purpose of promise dot all methods in JavaScript. Promise dot all method. It is a method which is used in JavaScript.
Okay, promise dot all. So basically, I don't have appropriate knowledge about this, so I would like to skip it.
Okay, no worries. So if anybody wants to answer that question, yeah, Mani, it's your turn to answer.
So basically, promise.all is a method to handle the all kind of promises it available in the Java in our programming. Like there are so many promises and we need to handle it. So there are a method is promise.all. By using this method, we can handle the multiple promises on correctly, and this promise.all return the array of promises. And when the all promises will fulfill, so it return as a fulfilled array, and it will wait for the all promises. Like one array is fulfilled and second is not fulfilled, so it wait for all the promises, all the promises fulfilled or not. And after the all promises fulfilled, it return a array of fulfilled. This is what promise dot all to handle the multiple promises in the programming.
Yeah, thank you, Mahin. Well answered. Yeah, now it's time for Akash. So, Akash, your question is, yeah, uh, tell us about the basic difference between promise dot raise or promise dot all methods. There are two methods, promise dot raise, promise dot all. What are the basic difference between?
Yeah, I know about promises dot all, but I don't know the second method that you are saying.
Okay, no worries. So, anybody wants to give the answer? Yeah, Amit.
Yeah. So as Mine said that promise.all takes an array of promises and it resolve all the promise which are giving you the resolved value. So and it returns the resolved values in an array. But what promise.raise does is it takes the first promise which is settled, like which is resolved, and it ignores the all other rejected promises. So it takes only the first resolved value and it returns that, and it basically ignores the rest of the promises.
Okay, well answered, Amit. Now it's time for Karan. So wait a minute, guys. Yeah, Karan. So Karan, your question is, what do you understand from HOF? What are the use of HOF? Why we use HOF? We can also use simple functions, but why we prefer to use HOF instead of using simple functions?
Okay. So basically, HOF is a higher order function. Its full form is higher order function, and as the name suggested, it is the higher order function, which is like it is the main function which is calling first. So that is the higher order function, and in that, like why we use it? We use it for iterating over. Like there are different methods of higher order function. We used to iterate it over arrays. For example, there is dot math, dot map, dot filter, and those methods we use for iterating over arrays. So I really don't remembering the things. Sorry. That's the.
Okay, no
Hello, hello.
worries, Karan.
Uh,
Yeah. Now it's time for Supriya, the final and last question of the meet. So, Supriya, your question is, what do you understand from resolve and reject
Okay. So
in
these are the two
JavaScript
parameters of
promises?
these are the two parameters of asynchronous programming only. Sorry, promises only. So resolve simply means when whatever function you're passing and it gets resolved. I mean it gets executed. Then your promise has been resolved, and it will go into dot then, like it will display. But if your promise, if your function is not getting executed, then definitely it will be rejected, and it will go to other method. So these are the two things in promises. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Supriya. It is correct, but not totally correct. Okay. So, guys, now it's time for declaring the result. I have the result already. I made my result. So, just give me 30 seconds. Yeah, guys. So, I have some feedbacks for you, and I have already made my decision. So, no doubt, Amit and Maheen have lots of deep knowledge about the topic, but somehow Maheen answers are not structured form, and Amit are able to represent. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Represent.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. So Amit and Maheen have the deep knowledge about the topic, no doubt. They answered right, correct answer they have, but somehow Maheen doesn't she is not able to put the answers in a structured way. Or other hand, Amit are able to put their answer in a structured way. So only that's why the big shout out goes to Amit. Amit is the winner of the meet, no doubt. But both have equal marks. I mean, Amit have 5 marks out of 5, and also Mahin have 5 marks out of 5. Uh, and the rest of 3 members. So first of all, I will talk about Supriya. Supriya skipped 2 answers, 2 questions. Sorry. Uh, Supriya has 3 marks out of 5. If I talk about Karan, so we will not consider Karan as much because Karan has not completed uh, all the topics yet. So that's why we are not considered Karan. Or if I talk about Akash, so I expect much more than this from Akash because Akash is the senior of all. He's already learned all the topics. I mean, see, he's completed full stack web development course entire. So I expect much more than this, Akash, from you. Or you scored 3 marks out of 5. You skipped 2 questions also. You are not able to know the proper answer. You answered one wrong. You give one wrong answer. So I hope you will improve uh, in upcoming sessions. Yeah, that's it from my side. If you have anything to speak, you can. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other things. Okay,
After
I
meet. Just pause the recording.
okay, guys. So we will meet you guys again tomorrow. Till then, keep practicing, keep learning. Yeah, bye bye, guys.